whatever we have learned in our studies, whatever we have experienced in our life, that is what we can share to others. Whatever we have experienced maybe can be a good point of learning for all of us as well. So I think I'll start a bit with Dr. Nordina has introduced me very well. Actually, I'm a medical doctor in HKL. I did my studies in Dublin, and then I did my degree in psychology and master in counselling, and currently pursuing my PhD in health psychology at UKM. When I was dealing with physical, as a medical doctor, we deal with physical, When you see a doctor, how long do you see a doctor? When you go to a clinic, how long do you see a doctor? 5 minutes? How long did you wait? 2 hours. 2 hours waiting, and you got into the doctor's room and said, 5 minutes, okay, pakcik balik ambil ubat, balik makan ubat. Okay. Just 5-10 minutes with doctors, but then you waited for almost 4 hours in the clinic. You spent the whole day in the clinic, correct? So that was when I realized I have a very limited time with my patients. So as medical doctor, I learned to treat physicals. From head to toe, I know what's wrong with you, I diagnose you, you have this sign, you have this symptom, blah, blah, blah. Finally, this is diagnosis, this is your management, this is your drugs. Take this at home and I'll see you next week, 1 week of treatment. So that's what I always do, what we do as medical doctors. But then I realized that there's a lot of things behind here that I didn't have the time to ask you. Because why? If I spend more than 10 minutes with you, doktor lama lagi ke? Doktor saya lama dah tunggu. Doktor bila turn saya? That's quite common that we see in the clinic. The patients will knock the door, lama lagi ke? And the nurses kata, doktor jangan lama sangat, nanti macam marah dekat luar. So that's a common thing we see in the clinic. So I decided I want to know my patients more. It's not just signs and symptoms that we see in physicals. There's a lot more going on behind here, and in Islamic knowledge we learn about the soul, the heart, and the soul, the nafs. So I wanted to learn more about that. That's when I ventured into psychology. This is not a common thing a medical doctor will venture into psychology. But I thought that would be a very good holistic approach, that I know how to diagnose you physically, and I also know how to see what's behind the eyes and the nose and the head, what's inside that. So I can diagnose you mentally, psychologically, and then I can treat you holistically. So that is why I'm doing into psychology. I venture into psychology, I venture into counseling, and now I'm doing health psychology. So in health psychology, I combine everything to see you from every single element that we have. So in psychology, in health psychology, we deal with biopsychosocial. So before this, about 20 years ago, they only focused on biology. So when the emergence of medical modern medicine, we focus more on physicals. What's wrong with your brain? What's wrong with your eyes? What's wrong with your heart, your kidney, your lungs, your legs, and your arms? But when they found out that there's a lot more multifactorial elements that come up who you are, so it's not just physical. There's a lot more than that. So they come up with biopsychology, so just two elements. But for the past 20 years, they add on one more into social. So biopsychosocial. So three elements that make up who we are today. So these three elements actually very important to be addressed in every single person. So when the question about how important or how significant is mental health in a workplace, of course it is very important. I've been working in MOH for more than almost 20 years now. It's a busy place. I worked in HUKM before in Cheras. I work in Sabah. Ini Sabahan ya? Ada Sabahan kat sini? Dia ada? Dia orang Sabahan kah? Okay. And then I got apa tu? Ada. And then I got transferred to HKL. When I transferred to HKL, that was a nightmare. Everywhere knows HKL is a madhouse. It's crazy. One of the reasons why it's crazy is because HKL is pusat rujukan negara. So we cannot reject patient. Kalau you've been transferred to HKL or you come to HKL and seek for treatment, we have no right to reject you. We cannot say, oh, kami dah penuh pergi hospital lain. We cannot do that. When I was in HUKM, we did that. I was in emergency in HUKM, and when our beds are full, HUKM we have about 10 floors, 10 wards, 10 floors of wards. So when it's full, we put a sign in front of our emergency department and say, we are sorry, we are full. Our beds are full, our wards are full. Kindly go to the nearest hospital. We can do that in HUKM. But in HKL, we cannot do that. because we are the pusat rujukan negara. We have to accept you. When I first came into HKL, I got into medicine, medical ward. Medical ward is the busiest ward ever, anywhere. So HKL is nonetheless. So when I walk into medical ward, you see patients, the full patients, and then there's patient dekat tepi pintu, tepi singki, tepi tingkap, everywhere patients, medical. Anything, if you don't not sure, you admit to medical. Not sure, admit to medicine, medical ward. So that's what happened in medicine. So it's a madhouse. It's crazy busy. So it's already high workload in HKL, and nobody cares about what's going on up here. If there's a work to be done, there's patients need to be treated, you have to do it. If not, patient will die and deteriorate. So you like it or not, you work in HKL, you have to work. Settle your work, get all the bloods done, the blood investigations done, run to the lab, run to the X-ray department, run everywhere. Get all the doctors, whatever needed for the patients, get it done. We don't care about the rest of what's going on up here. So what's happened to our staff in HKL? So I'm just giving an example of HKL when it happened the rest of the places. Yeah. So what happened in HKL is burnout. Even before COVID, we already burnout. So a lot of workload, it's a high workload. So our staff were stressed. Have you seen? I'm sure you've heard about stories how the doctors, the housemaids, or the nurses got scolded. Kan banyak macam Twitter kan macam oh saya penjaga kepada ayah saya, mak saya tengok husband kena marah, saya tengok nurse kena marah dengan doktor pakar. We heard all those stories, we read all those stories. It's true, it's happening because everyone is stressful, everyone is stressed. It's high stress level, so you function on a high stress level. So in the end, day by day, week by week, months turns into years, you develop a burnout syndrome. So it took a toll on your brain and your heart. So that's when your productivity drop. You feel like there's no more interest going to work. When we first started working, let me share with you. When I first started working about 20 years ago, when I walked into the first day into registration, pendaftaran, hari pendaftaran di HUKM, I put an intention, a niat in my heart. I say, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. So whoever needs my help, then I'll help them. Doesn't matter the nurses, the MAs, the PACA, the specialist consultants, the patients, the family members, I'll help them to whatever I can to my capacity. So that was my intention. So when there's so much stress, there's so much workload, the intention sometimes fade a bit. You feel, what am I doing here? It's so much work. Nobody cares about me. Nobody asks me, how are you? Nobody asks you, how are you? Nobody cares about your mental capacity, your mental health. So that's when the burnout becomes into depression. People start to have, there's no purpose in life. I'm just here, just a machine. I just see patients, treat patients, clean the patients for the nurses. That's all, and go back and got your salary. That's it. So you lost a purpose in life. So that's very important in life to have a purpose in life. Remember the story about my niat just now? I'm here to help. But in the end, am I really helping? I'm just doing my job. It's just a job. So towards the end, our niat, our intention gets swayed, and with that we develop depression, and then we don't feel like going to work, and then we go into MC syndrome. This is what we call MC syndrome. You wake up when you have depression. This is what I see in my clinic. When you see depression, you loss of interest in life. You wake up in the morning, you feel like, nak buat apa ni? Bosannya, nak tidur. Tambah tadi hujan pula lebat kan? I woke up in the morning, alamak, 6:30, alamak hujan, macam mana you ni? So tambah hujan pula, alamak nak tidur, and feel. But remember when you first feel so excited to go to work, there was one time, must be everyone's life. There's one time you feel like, oh, you wake up in the morning, you feel so good, you want to get up, get dressed, get out, go to work. But now, after years of working, you feel like, I don't want to get up, I want to stay home. MC lah hari ni. Kan? Lepas tu pergilah jalan kaki ke klinik kesihatan, ke klinik GP. Doktor, saya nak MC doktor. Saya kata apa? Tak tahulah. Macam... mula nak reka kan? Macam, I'm telling you this. If you reka, we know. Okay, the first thing I share with you, my professor, my Irish professor, I learned in Dublin, Ireland. So my Irish professor, this one time, he brought in a patient in, yeah. So like a bunch of us medical students. So he asked a patient to walk in. So when the patient walked in and then sat down in front of us, and then the minute the patient sat down in front of us, the professor asked, spot diagnosis. This is a very common question for a medical student. You see someone, spot diagnosis. What do you think the patient has? I think the patient has gouty arthritis. I think the patient has stroke on the right side of the body. So that is spot diagnosis. Yeah, you tengok, you tahu sikit apa. Macam penujung pula. So, and then we all teka, and then it's all wrong. And then actually the patient has something that we miss, the arm movement. When the patient walk in, we miss the arm doesn't move tau. The normal one, you can sway your arms right and left, belenggang kan. But this one, the one arm doesn't move. So we miss that. So the first thing the professor said, observation is very crucial in medical. The moment the patient walks in, you observe from head to toe what are the signs and symptoms. So when you go to the clinic and say, Dr. Saya nak MC, the moment you walk in, we already observe you. So kalau nak MC tu kena berlakon sikit lah. Oh, ada recording ke? So kena berlakon sikit lah. So we know from beginning, oh, dia ni okay sebenarnya. So dia kena MC. Kalau doktor macam tak sihat, demam ke? Tak ada demam. Sakit kepala? Demam batuk sesama? Tak ada, semua tak ada. Then, mungkin rasa sakit perut sikit. Sakit perut. Mula sakit perut. So, okay. Ada sakit berit ke? Ada muntah-muntah? Tak ada tapi sakit perut. Okay lah. Nak rehat, saya rasa nak rehat hari ni. Okay lah, 1 hari cukup. Tak apalah doktor, 1 hari. So, bagilah MC 1 hari. Itu kalau dapat doktor yang baik. Saya tengok awak ni okey je. Tak payah MC lah. Dah balik kecewa. Tak dapat MC. Kan? Terpaksa ambil CR, cuti rehat. Kan? You have to take your annual leave. So that's the syndrome. From one thing happen, that's the consequences what happen. You start to go doctor shopping. So you call doctor shopping. You tahu doktor ni tak bagi MC, you pergi doktor lain pula. Doktor ni bagi MC, doktor ni baik lah. Next time pergi doktor ni. So doctor shopping. So that's a trend that we develop when we lost interest and purpose in life. This is very common, not just in hospital, you see in every organization. And then the HR will ask, oh, MC berapa hari? MC 2 hari. Sakit apa? Sakit perut. And then next month, MC lagi 2 hari. Why? Oh, sakit kepala. So you may not think that we know, but we keep track of the pattern, of the behavior. Last month 2 days off MC. This month 2 days off MC. What's going on? So your productivity will drop. Bila you tak datang kerja, orang lain kena cover you punya kerja. Betul? Kerja you berlambak, bos marah kat you, lagilah you rasa down. So it's a circle of event. Consequences from one thing leads to another. So it's very important to address whatever you're feeling up here, whatever you're feeling here, talk it out. Anyone, if you have a friend, talk to your friend. If you have your spouse, your husband and wife, talk to your spouse. Or even to your kids, to that extent. Yeah. In case you need professional help, see a counselor. You are in Dr. Nordina. Kan? Sorry, Puan. Yeah, kan, people always blame that macam tak ada, tersakit kan. That can be a pure reason or just a make-up reason, an excuse. Yeah. So we need to explore. That's what we do in counselling. We explore. Sebelum jadi burnout, sebelum jadi depressed, sebelum jadi doctor shopping, sebelum pergi MC shopping ni, what happened? You trace back. You burn out at work. That's why you don't feel like going to work. So it's very important to address the mental health issues, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Trust me, I have to look into the psychiatric diagnosis more often than I see physical diagnosis. If you come and see me, I can easily say, oh, you're the asthma, you're the knee, your heart disease, blah, 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 you're the SLE, you're the knee. But when it comes to psychiatric diagnosis, I have to refer to the book. Why? Banyak sangat. Banyak sangat. It shows how complex our mental capacity is. Yeah. So whatever you're feeling, whatever you're having, talk it out. Have someone to talk to. Yeah. So it's very important. Pay attention to the body's, the signs and the symptoms. Whatever you're feeling, your emotions, express it out. Talk to the right person. Yeah. I'm gonna stop.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Aziz. It's a very lengthy and very well organized explanation. I hope we can get some input from that, right? The connection between our physical mind and also emotion. Jaga-jaga ya, kalau nak lalu dekat Dr. Aziz lagi kan dia nampak. Nanti nak tengok. First screening kiranya. It's for free pun juga kan, Dr. Alright, with that, can we move to our second speaker, Madam Kuki? talking about the significance of issues of mental health in organization particularly. So how can the organization create a culture of this awareness of mental health? Tafadhal.
Okay. Salam sejahtera and a very good morning to brothers and sisters. Okay, I was very impressed, doctor, when you said that MC and thinking. I think it's very normal culture for us, right? Lalu je nak pergi MC, when you burn out, right? Yeah, I understand that. So when it comes to counseling, it's come to the culture. Never deny that because I'm very new to how to say the setting of work culture. Okay, when I come in, when I actually say that you must have the what is your matlamat to help out, right? So when I entered, my first posting is in IPK Pahang, okay, in the Kuantan, and then when I get to know it's like bahagian jenayah, and I was like, oh shit, what is that? All about memang rasa macam kenapa saya seorang je pergi kena campak dekat sana pula? Maybe there's a hikmah always there, right? So when I went there, I can see, okay, mangsa-mangsa yang datang jumpa dengan saya, I mean the one I see is that semuanya adalah mangsa kanak-kanak. They are child abuse, they are children, and there's an adult actually. So I believe you also have deal with this kind of cases, right? So when I deal with this, so I can see, okay, physically, yes, you said, yeah, they suffered, but what about the mentally actually behind that, So we will never know what exactly they're suffering from. Hanya sunyi sahaja. They are very, very silent. Silent sufferer, I call them. Yes. So begitu juga kita dekat tempat kerja. Actually, we are suffering from a silent sufferer. Okay, let me ask your brothers and sisters. How many of y'all will say that I'm not well today? Not physically, but in terms of your mentally, how many of y'all, tell me, how many of y'all raise your hand and say, tengok, tak ada siapa nak buat pengakuan, that is what you said. You see, tak ada siapa yang nak, because why? You feel that people will label us, betul? Kenapa ni? Why she's walking to the counseling room? Oh, she's seeing someone else. Okay, that's it, labeling. Okay, this is what I want to emphasize it. When it comes to culture, how the organization wants to accept this kind of people, we accept them, which means we say that, okay, means that you give a chance to the person to talk actually. Macam doctor mentioned, freely to talk. If kamu tak ada kawan, you don't have a person to talk with. You need someone to express with. Yeah, that is what. Other than that, what as a culture we can say is that we have many SOPs. Do we have a mental health SOPs? Do anyone knows what is mental health SOPs? No, right? Yeah, we fail. I mean, we do. I mean, to say that everybody, we don't have a mental health issues or health also the policies. Okay, let's say, kalau let's say kita ada client ataupun warga kerja who has like been diagnosed, we feel like down. Okay, when they come in, what is the policy? Do you have a policy immediately to say, oh, this person is like this, can we refer to them? No. So you want to emphasize or else you want to booster something in a culture, in a workplace, you must have a policy. First of all, develop a fundamental basic policies to understand that. Okay, other than that, what you can see is that how to encourage that to see how well established. Okay, how many of the organization have the counselors in HR? Bukan semua ada kepakaran, betul? Yang ada pun maybe basic counseling. Dia datang dengar-dengar, you listen and then you go back, bye. Okay, then after that, they have a bad impression, what? It says that, okay, this is what I have heard myself and I see at organizational. They go and the next moment they say, okay, when I come and see you, make sure my stories don't leak out. Hey, what is this? Rahsia. Okay, they don't trust us. They feel that, hey, Rahsia second. After the moment you stepped out, oh, you're already being a bahan there. Hey, I know what is the problem. What is this one? So there is no, how to say it, confidentiality has been maintained. That's why they feel that lacking of them to walking to counseling department. So that's why the culture of you want to create a harmonical culture, it's very lack over there. Okay, what I can see is that. Okay, another thing is that, okay, how do you want to touch on the well-being of a person? Okay, let's say today you have many of you all here. Okay. Are you being really given out like, for instance, a weekly, basic weekly? Okay, so today we talk about stress. Do anybody talk about that? Not many, right? You will say, okay, memang like stress, okay, sebab dekat rumah dah arrange something, lepas tu datang sini, tutut pun kerja banyak, betul, but nobody talk about that. What is this all stress about? very minimal level of us talking about that. We feel that nowadays kids are coming to me and saying to me also when I see the kids, oh, I'm stressed out. I say, wow, 7 years old kid can come and tell me I'm stressed out. Do you really know what's meaning of stressed out or not? Even I also don't know how to say my name level stressed out. They say, no, I'm very stressed. Why? Because my mommy never let me to watch TV. Oh, wow, okay, that's stress. So they don't even understand what is stress all about. So just imagine like us, do you know really how the stress really working out in us or not? No. Maybe doctor can, maybe later you'll see how does the physically has been, put it and then it comes out in mentally actually. All right. So another part of it also where I can see is that to impose the culture of well-being in our office is another way is that the interaction. Okay. How well you guys are interacting, brothers sisters, interacting with each other. If I ask you a question, okay, Puan, do you know who's behind you? She's smiling. Okay, I ask you, do you know who's on the left and I mean on your right, on your left, on your right? You know. Okay, what about on your the other side? And she's looking, and then she's like, okay, who's this? Okay, that's why we are lacking on saying hi to everybody. So we've not noticed what's happening in our work setting actually. So you see, you want to impose a good culture and promote a well-being, but eventually you don't know who is next to you. When you're able to know who's next to you, you really can help them out. You don't actually for counseling, yes, we want to be a very good counselor, KBPA, like what, yes, that you need to study. But as a basic need, listening, the most important, your ears, you have to have that culture. Basically, like what employee can do is that walking around and then say, hi, how are you today? How many people will say hi when you come in? How many people you all say every day? Because semua, not everybody will say. Some their faces like that. I could see many when I go in the office. Serious to be very honest. I like to say everybody say good morning. When I say good morning, tak layan. I say, okay, something, okay, gitu. I say hi, okay, hi ni, okay, how do you feel? Hi, hi, hello. Tak lah, bos dah panggil. Okay. The stress out. Say, no, I know eventually you wanted to start up your day, but perhaps put yourself first, self-care. Love yourself first. Okay, when you love yourself, automatically you try to put into others as well. That's where the company and organization can foster, how, the cultural, well-being, how to promote them. If you don't have that, individually we fail actually because you don't say hi. When you see, kalau bukannya jumpa orang lama tapi depan-depan kita pun tak kenal, siapa belakang lagi kita tak kenal. Sekali pengsan, oh iyalah, I hari tu jumpa dia tapi dia pengsan. But you see, in that way, actually, right? So that is why the mental health is very important. Normally, in a police culture, if I wanted to share, it is like, okay, doctors mentioned how stressful is the profession of a doctor. But police, seriously, to be very honest, it's much, much, much more stressful because the number of cases, offenses daily to read out the reports is like in a bulk. Come in only, the first thing is that, hey, how many cases today? Who has gone for the ride? Who had everything? Even the BS council sitting in our room also sometimes feel, oh my God, what my boss is going to say today, what going to happen the next moment, how many cases arise up and everything. They will ask, what have you done? What have you gone? Have you gone to this one? So that's why we will say that eventually when I read it, higher number of risk factor is that how to say, working profession is in the police because it leads them to suicide. Seriously, I have faced that in fact, and so many because of what the level of burnout that you say, they accumulate and then they don't know how to put it up. So even though there's a promotion of a good culture, well mental health, but still there are people that don't know how to seek help. So what I can say is that if you feel you need somebody, first of all, you don't need to have the kemahiran or anything. Basically, you need the ears, I say. If they will say, hey, today I feel one kind or something, please listen to them. Seriously, trust me. Because today they say sometimes tomorrow they don't have already. Because that is a real thing even I face. Normally I used to give my client can call me anytime. I know I make a mistake because I also have family, but then eventually I want to buat betul-betul, jaga orang 2 o'clock in the morning. Actually I'm not right. I say, what? Oh God, pernah? I say, okay, right. Let me get back to from the bed and then I kena tenang dulu sebelum I nak. Then when I asked, okay, please become who was next to you, everything check, and then was doing. Well, I had to edit this for 2 hours after they come back because they really need someone to talk to. So that's why I say the basic is that your ears is important and your willingness to listen. That is most important. That's why you can really, actually promote the well-being in a workplace, the interaction, the communication, the employment one-to-one, and everything. That's what I believe. That's what.
Yes. Just one question, Madam Boogie, because you said your setting was PDRM before this. So how did you put the culture of people using the help of counseling and issues of mental health, particularly if you can relate to any of the cases that you've been handling?
Okay, basically in a PDRM, I mean a police force, we have a two division. One is the integrity, and one is our crime department. So when I'm attached in crime department, I mainly to do with crimes, especially happens offenses. But there's integrity department is solely for the uniforms. So to give them a session, yes, they always be like checking out that, and some eventually, there will be like say that I don't want to go to them because I scared my name will be revealed and my supervisor knows where I went and what cases have been shared. I'm not productive. I mean, I'm doing not good enough in the workplace. My productivity is low, and so they will come to us. So they say, "Can I come and meet you?" I say, "Yes, please." Why? Most of the time, I say, "Yes." What have you done? Yeah, I'm started to take MC. As you say, yes, the first thing is that the MCs, because that is what they will start. That's a basic level. After that, they will give to excuses which they will never be on time. That is very normal culture. So how to cope it, because they cannot take the how to say. There's no understanding, or the interactions very lack between. I will never say every police. Just one, two there are actually, because in police the most important is that your instruction from one-to-one instruction, you must the command and control. You have to adhere to that. Some of them can't compliance with that. So that's why. So I have one sharing where this a case happened really, I think back then 1 year ago, which I heard my colleague, the one who handled this actually. This is a couple who has a family problem, but the man who never go out to seek help. I'm not sure. I'm not condemning all the brothers that you guys have a ego not to go out. I'm not sure what is the seriously to be honest. But this man has been keeping it in until he committed suicide. He killed his son and himself. See how the thing can brought to your family. It's still you and your wife, but you have brought another life. It's not easy, huh? Our life is like once only, huh? We are live for once only. But if you could have just think and talk to someone, at least talk to someone, tell about it, you could be saved. We can save two lives. It is very, when we listen to that, we are trying to work out what is the best way for the organizational to foster, the mental health level, which is checking on them, like, are they okay? So that's why we also have like, in a way, like doing every weekly to check on the certain topics to talk about on the psychological purpose. That's very important. So at least you can identify them by observation, what is it to say.
It seems that the culture maybe can be start with ourselves. How do we communicate and how do we react with others based on what Madam Kogi said and also what Doctor has mentioned earlier on. So it ends the round one. So I open the floor if brothers and sisters have any question to our panelists before we go to the second round. Maybe. All right. So it seems that we can see the body gestures from the doctor, right? So it seems that we need to continue. All right. So based on our second round, we'll be talking on particularly how to we can move from mundane to extraordinary. So based on the Indeks Kebahagiaan Malaysia 2020 dikeluarkan, because we celebrating in Malaysia, we're celebrating Hari Kebahagiaan Sedunia on 20 March. So the price statistic in 2020, it shows that Malaysia, Indeks Kebahagiaan Rakyat Malaysia is at the score of 6.4, that is indicating we are bahagia. Alright, so bahagialah in the sense that if you wanted to talk about indeks kebahagiaan ni, actually it comprises of 6 other components. Tapi tak apalah, I will not explain on that. So antara negara daerah-daerah yang bahagia di Malaysia, number 1 is Petaling Jaya. Ini Petaling Jaya kat sini. Nampak bahagia tak mereka?
Bukan jam ke PJ?
Itulah kebahagiaan mereka. Okay. Alright, and followed by Manjung. I'm from Manjung. and Kluang, Johor. Bangsa Johor. This is based on the statistic 2022. Mungkin 2023 it will be different lah. Okay, so with that sense, right, because we talk about wellness, we talk about happiness, all right, it's not been talking in Malaysia only, it's been talking widely, all right, in many platforms. So my second question for the second round to Dr. Aziz particularly. So, how can we evolve, or any tips or steps that we can take to move from the status of mundane to extraordinary, particularly in work setting, because we do understand that work and our personal issues might be, many research has shown that it is interrelated, right? So, any tips that Dr. might share with us?
Right, thank you, Nirvana. To answer that, I'd like to touch a bit about the culture that Puan Koki mentioned just now. We don't say, hi, how are you? Correct tak? Kita jumpa, Assalamualaikum, and that's it. Good morning, good night, good evening, betul tak? Good afternoon, kan? We don't say, apa khabar? Jarang jumpa. Kalau orang Perak punya apa? Apa khabar? Ya, orang Perak, ada orang Perak kat sini. Oh, ada. Orang kampung teman sama dengan kita. Tiba cakap Perak dia pula. Keluar bahasa Konda. Okay, we don't say that. When Atanya, dia terkeluar dah ya. Okay, so we don't say that apa khabar or how are you so much. When I was studying in Dublin, I work part time in a hotel. Cari duit extra lah, nak travel ke overseas kan, nak travel jalan ke London dan Paris dan sebagainya. So I work part time in hotel. It's an Irish culture. When you pass each other, you say, how are you? How are you? Kita how are you dia? How are you? So there was initially when I work in a hotel, how are you? Dia macam pass by each other and say, how are you? And then he just left. And kita kat Malaysia belajar, how are you? I'm fine, thank you, how are you? Dah, ni dia belah je. Aku nak jawab apa ni? You know? So that was Irish culture. So how are you for Irish is actually just hi. When I met Spanish and Italian, when I still biasa, how are you? Oh, Aziz, yesterday I had this headache and trouble. My kids and my son. Aku tanya, how are you je? Kau dah lebih-lebih pula. So kita macam, okay, do I have to sit and listen to you ke? Aku nak belah ni macam, no, dah lain culture. So the cultures are very different. So our culture, we don't really sit and ask how are you and really want to know how are you. Tak, dia tak macam tu. Kita how are you tu macam kita nak bahasa, nak berbahasa-basi je kan. We don't really ask sihat ke, physical and mental. So I think to answer that one is culture is very important. To develop a culture, start from young, from home, when your kids are still growing, build the culture. Remember, yang saya belajar daripada kitab Datuk Guru saya, bila umur daripada 0 ke 7 tahun, bermain-main dengan anak itu. 7 ke 14 tahun, ajari dia adab. 14 ke 21 tahun, berkawan dengan dia. Selepas 21 tahun, lepaskan dia dan monitor dia jauh je. Sebab kamu dah train dia for 21 years. Kamu dah ajar dengan adab dengan dia, kamu dah berkawan dengan dia, selepas 12 tahun, dia dah besar, yang adab, dah pergi universiti. So, monitor dia jauh. Kalau rasa dia jauh sikit, tarik sikit. Jauh sikit, tarik sikit. Because you dah train for 21 years. Kalau you have done that for 21 years, insyaAllah anak yang hasil tu, insyaAllah jadi orang. Yeah? So the culture yang kita build from young, daripada anak-anak kecil lagi, itu yang kita terapkan pada anak kita. How are you? How are you today? You wake up in the morning and say, sihat ke hari ni? Apa rasa hari ni? Tidur okay? It's very common when I live in overseas, in Western countries. They always communicate with the kids. How are you today? How was your sleep? Kita tanya anak kita ke? Tidur okay? Tidur. Cepat. Sekolah ni pasal tu. Kan? Tak ada tanya tidur okay tak okay kan? We very rush. Sangat nak cepat. Okay. Dah lah nak pakai baju pun lambat, nak mandi pun lambat, semuanya lambat. Kita mula nak jadi tupai hijau. Kan? So we don't have that culture. So in overseas, when they come to breakfast, how are you? How was your sleep? You sleep well? Alright, what do you have today in school? Oh, I have blah blah blah. I have sports, I have PE, I have tuition, blah blah blah. Okay, have a good day. Peace. Alright, so we don't have that culture of asking how are you or how's your day. So start from home with your kids and your spouse. Ask them, really ask them, how are you? You know, this is when you detect, I'm not feeling well today, mom. What happened? I don't want to talk about it. That's when you pick up the small sign. And then next morning, do you want to go to school? I don't feel like going to school. Another sign. Sama macam kita yang adult ni, tak nak pergi sekolah, nak pergi kerja. What's going on? There must be something going on. Kenapa tak nak pergi sekolah ni? There must be something on. Then the third day, Mom, I don't feel well. Dah sakit pula. So what's wrong? Oh, I feel my tummy ache, tummy pain. Sakit pula macam mak juga kan, nak ambil MC kan. So I feel tummy ache. Then, okay, let rest at home. I call the teacher and say, you're off today. You resting at home. So what happened? One of my cases actually, that's a true story. Anak dia kena bully. Anak kena bully kat sekolah. The kid was bullied in school. So of course, when you get bullied in school, you don't feel like going to school. You know the bad guy is there waiting for you in school. And you don't have a good time. Those 8 hours, 9 hours in school, you don't have a good time. So of course, you're not looking forward to go to school. And they create all this in their mental capacity. Tak nak pergi, malas, kena bully, sakit, okay lah, tak payah pergi lah. So that's when you start asking, hi, how are you? How are you today? How are you feeling? Is everything okay? How's school? How's your friends? Get to know all these information. Yeah. So start small, build the culture at home. Yeah. When it comes to work, apply the same thing. How are you? How are you today? How was last night? Oh, I heard your kids having sports day last weekend. How was it? So keep asking. It's not kita nak menyebut jaga tepikan orang. It's not because of that. We share life. How long do we spend at work? 8 to 5. Berapa jam tu? How many hours is that? 9 hours including 1 hour off break. Betul tak? Satu ke dua. 1 hour break. So we spend the most at workplace. 8 to 5. How many hours we spend at home? A week hours at home. Balik rumah pun pukul 7. Betul? We'll reach home around 7 with the jam. PJ bahagia. Kan? Dengan jam tu kan. I was surprised PJ. Manjung tu tak apalah. Memang ulu kan? Cik. Ada orang manjung sini? Allah Akbar, sorry. Ujung bukan ujung. Tenang tepi laut lumut tu ya. Itu baik cover ya. Okay. So kalau mahjong tu okay, tenang. Macam kita busy. So bila kita balik ke rumah, we around 7 o'clock. Dah rushing nak maghrib, nak masak dinner, yang perempuan nak masak dinner, yang lelaki nak pergi surau, nak uruskan anak dan sebagainya. So and then 8:30 kita dinner, and then pukul 10 dah tidur. So we spend about 4-5 hours with our kids. And then kita tidur sampai ke pagi, sampai ke subuh. So we spend about 4-5 hours a week at home. When in fact we spend 9 hours at workplace. So longer time a week at workplace. So this is your colleagues. This is your friends. There's a difference, colleagues and friends. So build a good relationship with your colleague at work. Yeah, keep asking. Have a good colleague. Have a good relationship with your bosses as well. Bosses ni a bit iffy, a bit tricky, but can be done. Yeah, I'm sure you are bosses to some of your subordinates. Can if you are the subordinates, you have bosses. So the relationship tu memang kadang-kadang macam bos negara, we cannot choose our boss. Sometimes we have to adapt. That's when adaptability comes in. So when you spend 9 hours at work, have a good relationship with them, try to avoid crisis as much as you can. I know sometimes kita datang kerja macam, I don't feel like going to work, and then we feel emotionally imbalanced. Kita macam, I don't want to talk to people, I just want to be by myself. And then kita pun faham tengok kawan kita macam tu, oh tak payahlah kacau dia, tak payahlah pergi sembang-sembang dengan dia, you know. But afterwards, when things are a bit okay, keep asking, how are you? What's going on? Everything okay? Work alright? House okay? Kids okay? Make that a habit to us. Yeah, because we never know whatever problem they're having might be the same what we're having. Then you can share. Oh, I pun ada macam tu juga, tapi anak I buat bla 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 bla. Oh ya ke anak you macam tu juga? Oh, then settle the problem. We never know. Just by talking. You're not prying, bukan nak gosip membawang. You just ask honestly, you want to know what's going on. So in the end, the problem yang you facing, orang lain dah solution tu. So you're actually sharing the solution among yourself. So that is another good tip for you, how to build harmony, moving from stagnant to extraordinary workplace. Because we spend 9 hours here and 5 days a week. Lama kan? 40 hours at workplace. So that is one thing. Let me bring one story. It was terrible during pandemic. 3 years in the hospital. It was a dark history for us. Dengar untuk pick up all these signs. Issue hidden behind those words. Ya, benda ni kena ada skill sikit, kena tune sikit, kena belajar sikit. It's not that hard, but you just have to focus and pick up the small little things. That's what we do in Akrab. Yeah. So maybe in URA you guys can develop that small little group for Akrab that can cater for the rest of you guys. Yeah. So before I end that, I'd like to mention a bit about the facility in hospital. Yeah? If you're having problem with mental issue, where do you go? Pergi mana? Minta MC. Okay, lepas minta MC pergi mana? Klinik. Pergi healing sekarang ni trend, pergi healing ya. TikTok semua yang nari healing tu ya. Pergi pantai. Pergi berkemah. Oh, kopi. Ada kedai kopi kat sini. Lepas ni boleh bawa saya kedai kopi yang hipster dalam ni ya. Lagi apa? Balik kampung, holiday, dalam sana berterbang, boleh fly overseas. So that's common thing we do kan. For mental health, I share with you ya. If you having any issues, now we have counselors in klinik kesihatan. Ya, kita ada counselor di klinik kesihatan. So check out all this klinik kesihatan, kita ada counselor yang duduk kat situ. You guys see a doctor, you daftar RM1 ni, RM1 je. Daftar RM1, see a doctor, dia kata, I'm having some issues with mental health. Dia akan terus refer you ke bilik counselor. You will see a counselor masa tu. Ya. Kalau hari tu dia penuh, they'll give you an appointment. Okay, so there is a counselor in kesihatan. In case klinik kesihatan tak boleh cater for you, what's next? Nak ke mana ni? Hospital. Hospital nak pergi mana? Psychiatrist, jumpa psychiatrist. Or you nak jumpa counselor and psychologist? You nak jumpa siapa? Jumpa psychiatrist, ya kan gila. Mbak kata Puan Kogi. It's very stigmatized. I'll tell you a story. Even a psychiatrist has a psychiatrist. What do you understand from that? Even a psychiatrist has psychiatrist. Maksudnya, you bayangkan psychiatrist ni for 8 hours bekerja, memang tengok patient yang mental health illness. Memang, doktor, saya rasa macam hati tu tak betul lah. Lepas tu, doktor apa warna merah-merah kat situ? Doktor apa tu? Doktor makan apa tadi? Saya makan mi rebus. Doktor, adik saya kan tak betul doktor. You see, jump from one sentence yang tak ada kena-mengena. So you bayangkan 8 jam itu patient macam tu You pun macam tintong dah. So even, that's why I said even psychiatrist has psychiatrist. Sometimes we debrief a bit. Sometimes dah habis satu patient yang macam, babe, I need to vent out. So you just duduk dengan kawan yang sekejap, yang psychiatrist juga, babe, I need to vent out. Rasa macam penatnya, macam patient tu apa benda dah berapa mengaban. Okay, 5 minutes done. Okay, I see my patient again. Sometimes you just need that 5 minutes to just debrief for you to get ready for the next patient. Kalau you pun lepas patient yang first, you dah tintong-tintong, macam mana you nak jaga the second patient? So even psychiatrist has psychiatrist. So it's not a stigmatized kata, alamak nanti kalau masuk psychiatrist, nanti nama aku dalam file psychiatric. Risau, takut. Nanti bos tahu pula, alamak, saya patient psychiatric, nanti bos nak buang kerja. This one is very common di private sector. Kita government sector ni quite okay. Tapi private sector, if they dengar yang macam, oh, you ada file, psychiatric file, dia macam be worry sikit about you. Yeah? Tapi not to worry, which one is more important, your job or your mental health? Kita nak hidup lama. So take care of your mental health. So even psychiatrists have psychiatrists. So if you need to see a psychiatrist, you need to get a letter from klinik kesihatan or any doctors, tulis surat referral and walk into klinik psychiatry, kata, okay, ni surat referral daripada klinik kesihatan or any other clinic outside. Dia akan bagi you appointment. Kalau case you severe, dia akan screen you masa tu, dia akan triage you masa tu. Kalau you perlu jumpa psychiatrist or start on medication on the spot, dia akan start medication on the spot. Kalau dia rasa, oh okay, I think you quite stable, I see you in 1 week. So 1 week dia datang balik. Yeah? Tapi kalau lah 1 week tu dia jumpa dia after 1 week and dia rasa, okay, case you tak berat sangat. So I taper you down, I triage you down. Maksudnya kita turunkan you daripada level psychiatrist kepada level clinical psychologist. So clinical psychologist, dia akan deal with terapi dengan you. Biofeedback therapy and few CBT for you few sessions. So you don't need my drugs. You don't need medications, psychiatric medications. You don't need to see doctors. So I'll pass you pada clinical psychologist. Tetapi kalau kita rasa, kes you kes yang biasa, ada kes yang everyday life punya issues, kita taper you down, we triage you down to see counselor and psychologist. Ya, sebab if everyday life yang tak ada kena-mena dengan pathology, when I say pathology, is something wrong with your hormones, ya, hormones of your biomedic here up here, ya, you punya circulations, your wiring and all, semua normal. It's just everyday life. Kita taper you down to psychologist and counselor. Okay, so that is the pathway kalau nak pergi hospital for mental health. Boleh? One more. I think there's opportunity. Kalau you jumpa orang dekat luar atau adik-beradik you having this kind of issue, mengamuk-ngamuk kat rumah, what do you do? And you rasa adik you memang ada sangkut sikit. What do you do? Call police. Boleh call police? Boleh lagi? You nak admit adik you kan? So call police sebab you tak boleh handle. Abang bomba. Akak kita nak panggil abang bomba. Tahu lah bomba sadar-sadar. Okay, I tell you 5 ways to get your family members or yourself to be admitted in hospital. The first way is you self-admitted. You walk to emergency, you say, "Doctor, I'm having issues with mental health. I think I needed admission to see a psychiatrist." One way, you self-admitted. The second way is your family bawa you jumpa, pergi kecemasan, kata, saya rasa adik saya ni tak sihat, so want to see psychiatrist for possibility of admission. Boleh? The third way is polis bawa yang tadi tu. Kalau mampu meraban nak baling pisau semua, call up polis datang bawa family members kita ke hospital kecemasan and then admit to see psychiatrist. That's why kalau you perasan, almost all kecemasan memang ada pondok polis. So nombor 3 ialah polis. Nombor 4, how to admit the patient. Kita jumpa the patient and see the doctors will admit the patient. You need to get admitted. From our assessment, you have all the red flags. You ada schizo, you ada auditory hallucination, you ada visual hallucination. So we get you admitted. So kami sign surat untuk you admitted. 4, doktor admit. Nombor 5, mahkamah. Kami tengok artis kan, pergi masuk court, lepas tu tengok psychiatric evaluation, dan mahkamah akan tulis masuk because of arahan mahkamah. So there are 5 ways to get admission. Boleh ya? Alright. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Aziz. So those are the tips to move ourselves from mundane to extraordinary. So overall, the healing and how we observe ourselves, and we have to keep track on the well-being of ourselves and also people who are significant to ours, right? Meaning to say our family members, our colleagues, because we spend most of our time at the workplace. All right. In relation with that, so the next question to Madam Kogi. All right. So research and current situation have been talking a lot in terms of work-life balance, and currently they are work-family balance and work-health balance as well. So what is your advice or suggestion to us in regards to having some effective ways to promote, to reduce the workplace stress, and also how this advocate can take place, especially in our workplace setting?
Okay, that's very good, because when you ask that, for me, when I say work from home to settle off the things, that is very true. But yeah, because we all have the experience working at the work from home for the pandemic, am I correct? So I would never say 100% reduce, but at least it reduces your work stress. So of course, many companies don't really have applicable until now. Let me share with you a very recent, the things happens in my workplace, JKM. So we all we become the disaster actually, because we had some falls, because of some collapse of the shillings and everything. So instead of like that, then we all was thinking that maybe our employees would say go back to work and work from home, but then eventually we don't get it, because they said now it's not pandemic, so no more applicable. So I feel very funny. The thing actually, work from home is not only when you have a disaster actually. It can be applicable for a person who really need that. If you rate that, say you can't face the machines, because you will never know those who are facing like a machines. Maybe you face with people around, you can't cope with that. Yes, you can apply for the work from home. It depends on how your employer says yes or no. Because basically there is a way, because now, when we say until now, today I can hear, I mean, I heard from my colleagues saying that they still do work from home now. Our 3 days, yeah, they still continue to do work from home, really work from home. But basically, what about others? So if you want to work-life balance, what the employees can do is that they can still stick hold with that policy, which means give them to work from home, but not daily, but basically if you feel that you're not capable enough to do it at your workplace. Because some people, we will never know what is their condition all about. Like what doctors say, like what I mentioned also, when you say, hi, how are you? You see, when you stand to ask one person, hi, how are you? They will, maybe they like give you never, they will never give you a positive feedback. Maybe they ignore you at the very beginning. Okay. The next day, when you see them back again, hi, how are you? How are you doing? They feel like hi. They will start out with hi. Somehow you will have a response, but very slow response. The third, when you say hi, how are you? No, actually, I'm not feeling very good. Yes, you got that. You know, some they really say, when you say that, yeah, I'm not feeling good. Okay, okay, how can I help you? Why are you not feeling good? No, actually, I'm facing this problem, actually difficulties past 1 month, but nobody has been like, it's all silence sufferer, I say. So how could you see? So when you notice this, you as a colleague, you can always approach your your bosses to say that this person has been silent. Maybe the person is a very introvert, never even know how to express themselves. There are so many people. I believe here also you're not able to express your emotion correctly. When I ask, are you happy right now? Yes, I am happy. But do you define how is happy is that? Is it by smiling? You smile, but you will never know what's running in your mind actually. I'm smiling for the sake of smiling because I don't want people to think that I have something. Yeah. So in that sense, so you wanted to have a work-life balance, perhaps they can start it. Companies can really start it on this continuing of having a work from home setting. What I believe that. The next is that what they can do is that you having a, I see, I got read this in a overseas country where they do weekly basis on having a talk, like sharing sections, maybe a 1 hour or 30 minutes to say, they have like a bulletin board saying that, hi, please come to the booth, we are going to know what level is your stress right now. So when you go there, you do the test. When you do the test, you being on time. I mean, you're doing it, how to say, virtual. I mean, direct on that. So you really express yourself. When you get to know, I mean, of course, it's anonymous, but you can able to identify. Maybe, let's say, you say you can tell them after your test, and I will let you know. And if you feel that you see your scores is not really good, I think you're suffering a little bit of stress. Could you find talking? Yes, that's another way one-to-one interact. You pull them out. So when you pull them out, you are talking to them. You're giving them the intervention, coping strategies. In a way, you are doing a work-life balance over there. So once you get to know, yes, immediately HR. HR can take another way is that, okay, you get to know that person is not really well. Yes, they said, okay, get a letter to refer them to the doctor. There's no harm doing that. That's how you do the work-life balance, or the tips that we as like in a most of the government setting that I can know the work style is that, okay, in the PDRM, what we have, we work every day. Yes, of course we work, but Fridays we have like after 3 o'clock after the Sambayan Jumat, we have our PT. That means we go to have relaxation, 3 to 5, 2 hours. We go hiking, very nearby. And then the team, we will, okay, let's say 40 people in the department, not 40 just go down. Maybe 10 go first, the 30 reserve. Then we got another series, another 10 go. So eventually you're getting yourself a bit, how to say it, a bit better, because Fridays at least you feel that better. So you can do this. That's how you work. You balance your lifestyle actually. Another part is that you want to balance your work life. You don't bring your work to your home, and don't bring home to work. I would say, because people will always mix up, sometimes always complains that, oh, my house is this, my house is this. But when you come to work, when you go back to work, you say, oh, my office is this, my office is this. You never balance your life, in that way. So you see, I would just say one thing which I really saw by my eyes, witnessed it. If anything happened to you, there's already a replacement for that place. Remember that. But in your family, you're the only one. There's no replacement. Father, mother, brothers, sisters, uncle, auntie, children, grandchildren. If they are gone, there's no replacement. You want to find replacement? Can. It's not like how the employees does. For instance, today you collapse, you go to the, due to the mental illness or what you have, that you collapse, you go to the hospital. Right at that moment, your employer will tell, hey, find a post over there that's empty. Immediately, they will never care. That one is the second, kebajikan. We will go for the visit, but before that, put up a new leaflet to say that post will be empty soon. See, they do the decision making. That's why I say work is very important, but it doesn't mean you have to bring, because there is a replacement office, but no replacement in your life. I mean, you can't replace someone in your life if you lose it. So always remember to do that. I can share this with you all. This happened in this year, very beginning. Okay, 1st January, what you all will be doing? Enjoying, right? Going with your family. You're off the phone because it's a January. Don't say that. Oh my God, 1st of January I have to start work. You know, that's the 1st January, so you want to do a very, how to say, you have your new resolutions, doing everything, and then for the rest of your life. So what happened was we was busy having a paperwork that need to be done. So my higher level boss was like pumping in the messages in WhatsApp saying, I need urgently, blah, 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 everything. So my second boss immediately called me, hey, Gogi, I'm right now in IKEA, I'm just shopping and everything. Oh my goodness, I'm so stressed out. She's really stressed out. I say, one, hang on, don't worry. I tell you what, now everybody will never bother to check the handphone. I think only a couple of us only will check that handphone and the messages. So I was thinking what to do. As a counselor and psychologist, I need to think immediately for the rest of my colleagues as well. So maybe if I, let's say, going to get scolded, I don't mind lah. Maybe, people get scolded, after that you come back to normal and everything. Right? So I took my message this morning at 11 o'clock. I straight away respond to it because my name also was involved there. Straight away, I told to my boss, I said, ma'am, I will do it, but for information, I'm in a PD. Okay, PD means what it's on the beach, right? Okay, definitely. I said, I didn't bring my laptop and my pen drive along with me for this holiday. So I will get it done. For your information, I'll definitely get this done tomorrow by office hours. 10, it will be on your table. That's it. I put in a very nice word so that I know after I put this, everybody was paying me and saying, who is so dare to do that? Your boss asking. I say, I'm telling the truth. I'm sorry, I'm with my kids and my husband. I don't want to spoil their mood, They are important as well. So it is so nice. The bosses can understand straight away, say, okay, noted, done it tomorrow. Simple as that. You see, here what we want to know is that sometimes we will take ourselves granted, say that, oh, they never understand. Let me do that. Let me do that. Speak up. Speak up. Even though there's no right or wrong, even though they say you want to accept or don't accept, it's okay, but at least you let know what you feel inside. Actually, you saying out that it's okay to say no, sometimes, right? You don't need to every time say, okay, there's a colleagues are going to say, I want to go and eat in Starbucks, but you don't have money to eat. Okay. Don't because of the conformity to the group, you say, oh, let's go. No, it's okay. Say, no, it's okay. I don't want to follow this time. Maybe I'm already midst of my salary and everything. So maybe you go. That's why I say it's okay to say no at a certain time. So that is how you want to work-life balance. What I can say so. Right?
Yes, that's very correct. Say no when you have to say no. That is assertive training, right? Because I believe that is the culture of Malaysian people also. We tend to do the pantun-pantun things, cakap biar berlapik-lapik, tapi at the same time, it turn around to be U-turn. The affected people is us. All right. So with that, I open the second round for any question from the floor. Can we have one or two questions from the floor before we go to the last lap? Really, we really appreciate the question. Ada tak soalan apa-apa? Oh, tak ada.
Your Iman malu ke?
Dia baru panas saja. Yes, sister, silakan.
Assalamualaikum. Nama saya Nur Fadila dari IIUM Institute of Islamic Banking and Finance, IIBF. Simple question. Biasanya kita kalau kawan kita ataupun kita sendiri bila kita stres ataupun dalam keadaan yang tak best, overwhelmed ke apa kan, biasa orang yang dengar tu kita tak tahu dia tu a good listener ataupun tak, tapi mungkin sebab dia kawan dia dengar. Tapi kita tak suka macam kalau orang kata sabarlah. Macam kita rasa tak payah suruh aku sabarlah. Macam tu kan. Dia macam kita tengah kita tahulah sabar sebab kita sabarlah ni, kita duduk macam ni kita take time untuk diam ke apa ke kan. So kita pun tak, saya rasa lah saya pun tak suka macam sabarlah dia macam klise tau. Ada tak any cara ataupun perkataan yang lebih baik untuk kita nak tenangkan situasi yang tak best tu. Saya pun tak suka, saya mengakulah saya pun tak suka orang macam sabarlah nak macam mana. Saya rasa better macam tak payah cakap kot macam tu. Tapi saya rasa macam saya pun nak jadi a good friend to my friend kan, macam kalau dia tengah overwhelmed with something kan, macam how to say, kita nak sangat tolong tapi kita pun tak boleh nak tolong, tapi macam it's just like okay, kita boleh jadi a good listener tapi macam kita nak respond to that kan. Macam doktor cakap lah, tak boleh dah jadi hari tu memang apa semua kan, macam tak tambah pula lagi dia punya tu kan, geram ke apa. Cuma kita nak dia bertenang ke apa tu, how to manage this situation lah.
Saya minta Dr. Nordina jawab, boleh? Nak belajar juga.
Saya moderator ni kata. Kita serahkan ke saya nak jawab dulu. Alright. Sedikit je sebab saya bukan tuan program hari ni. I'm only the moderator. In basic counselling, helping skill, perkataan sabar tu dikira khotok kabir. Khotok kabir tahu kan salah besar. Bila kita ada listening skill, is no words. Alright. The word sabar tu tak boleh. Kalau cikgu saya, sifu saya cakap ialah tak boleh cakap sabar. Sebab dia tahu sabar. Dia tahu sebenarnya. So, macam yang Dr. Aziz cakap, kena dengar. Kadang-kadang dia cakap benda tu sama, ulang yang sama. You kena listen. Alright, so itu tips sedikit. Saya serahkan kepada dua pakar untuk menjawabnya. Tafadhol, any one of you, both of you.
What do you guys think about the sabar thing? Do you think this is the right way to handle the situation? Semua macam, aku tahulah sabar. Kau dah kenapa? Kan, semua macam nak sentak mainan macam tu kan. So what do you think is the best way to do it? Just listen, be there and listen. Offer some help. Is there anything I can do to make things better? Sometimes, no, you dengar pun dah cukup, babe. You dengar pun dah cukup. Sometimes just be there. So the word bersabar tu kita elakkan, sebab kata Dr. Nordina, jangan menggunakan. Offer some help. That's a very good way untuk kita handle situasi macam ni. Kadang kita macam, alamak dah nangis aku nak buat apa ni, alamak nak pergi tisu ke. Even certain counselling teacher, dia tak bagi tisu Dia tak bagi tisu. So kadang kita macam, alamak klien dah nangis, macam belajar lah, alamak klien dah nangis. So kita pun hulur lah tisu yang ada kat sini, hulur. Lepas kena sound dengan profesor, do not give tissue, do not offer tissue. You know? Because sometimes bila you bagi tisu, you sekat dia punya thought process tau. Dia tengah meluahkan ni. Lepas tu you bagi tisu, dia macam, okay, dia terberhenti sekejap. Dia nak lap semua mata, hingus, air semua tu. Dia terberhenti thought process dia. So biarkan je. Sebab the moment you interrupt, even bagi tisu tu macam membantu, tapi actually interrupt. Ya, bagi tisu tu. So just be there and you can offer a verbal asking question. What can I do to make things better or help you in any way to make things better? I think that is a way to handle this kind of situation.
Okay, I totally agree what doctor said. When yelah, kerja dekat JKM kami memang terima begitu banyak community. First of all, when datang saja, they will like crying. Memang menangis. Terus sentuh je menangis. So memang of course I will never stop them crying. I will just say proceed. I will wait until you finish. I will always say that. So rather than I will never say, when they say this one, I say sabar ya. Dia katalah kita tak ada takdir. Never use that kind of words, I tell you. They will take something and say, memanglah aku dah sabar. That's what they said also. So as what you can say is that, I'll be there for you. That's a good word. Another thing, you can offer, like what doctor said. At that moment, if you have, for instance, like a water or something, you can make her to drink first. That's what she needs sometimes. Maybe when I see some kind of people, they will be very shaky. Sometimes they kata memang bila bercerita, at that point, they will be very shaky. And kalau gender sama, I tell you, touch at the bahu. They feel very, very comfortable. Say, okay, they are there. And then you can say, okay, kalau you perlukan apa-apa, call saya. Saya dekat sini je. Another thing, inform pada orang tersebut that you need anything, come to my desk, I'm there. Call me. Please tell them the information that you are offering, I'm there for you. Okay, what you need. But make sure bagi tahu dia, saya kat sini je. Kalau you perlukan apa-apa, dari kat sini. I datang ke tempat you. Something like that. Don't just say, anything, you just leave it. No. Give them the confidence saying that you are there. Because if anything going to happen or what, the first person should run to you. I cannot really. How? You can do the next step.
Saya tambah sikit. Sebut pasal menangis ni. I'll tell you a story. One of my first patient. Sebab Sebab saya tengok klien dalam hospital. Jadi my patients are usually patient dalam hospital get admitted for certain illness. So I was referred to one patient, a mother of 3 yang baru keguguran anak, miscarriage. And keguguran at the month of 7 and 8, 9 are so traumatic. Kalau yang first trimester, the first month, second month, third month, kalau gugur, you akan sedih, you akan trauma. But the impact is not as big as the third trimester. Third trimester, you dah siap beli baju anak, baju baby, you dah happy, looking forward for that. Anak-anak yang lain pun macam, adik baru datang, baby nak datang. So everyone is excited or waiting for the next baby to come out. But the third trimester miscarriage is traumatic. So I was referred to this patient. The moment she sat down, silakan masuk puan. Duduk. Okay, kita mulakan ya. You know what she did the moment she sat? Ni usually kalau counselor kita akan belajar, kita akan buat build a rapport, introduction. Saya Dr. Aziz, bla 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 bla. Okay, apa-apa yang puan cakap dalam sesi kita adalah rahsia. Puan boleh cerita apa saja. So that's our usual script introduction, ya, building rapport. But the moment she sat down, she said, "Doktor, anak saya dah mati." She shouted the whole office. Anak saya dah mati, doktor. Anak saya dah mati. For half an hour. Nangis, wailing, menjerit. Just there. And I was there macam, doing nothing. Just be there. For those half an hour, saya diam sahaja. Duduk dan diam sahaja for the first half an hour. Pas half an hour tu, she come down, and then she asked for tissue, and then she started to talk. That was when saya bercakap. Senang je kaunselor ya? Setengah jam diam. Ada lagi kaunselor. Setengah jam for the first half an hour. I was just silent and be there. So it shows that my point is being there sometimes enough. Mendengar sahaja. I tak offer tissue, I tak offer air, I tak sempat intro pun. I'm Dr. Aziz, bla bla bla. Tak sempat nak baca dialog skrip tu. Dia dah, anak saya dah mati, dan saya nak buat apa. So sometimes just be there and listen is all they need. Yeah?
Jawab, sister? Alright, thank you. Ada lagi soalan yang belakang tadi? Ada assistant kat saya? Tak apa. Masa bercuti tapi bos, saya paraphrase soalan. Masa bercuti tapi bos insist, I want to get done there and then.
Okay.
The report was done by
Yeah.
boss.
Ayat dia bahasa intro dia mukadimah dia kan. Tapi in the end you have to get it done and get back to me kan. What is the policy in UIA? Then I need to ask. Sekarang I bagi salah kan kena apa belakang? Kena ban belakang. Okay. I'll share with you my setting. In hospital, kalau you clinical, you kena jawab even after office hour. Clinical ya, maksudnya you jaga patient. Okay, you kerja you 8 sampai 5 and then you punch out, you balik. Orang on call akan take over daripada pukul 5 sampai ke 8 pagi esok. Tidur hospital. Boleh ingat tidur hospital ni macam mana cerita. Nanti lain kali kita cerita. Okay, so orang yang on call 5 ke 8 pagi esok akan jaga patient you. So you pass over. Say, babe, I had the patient, memang acute blah blah blah, on IV drip, antibiotics blah blah blah, waiting operation to call OT to call at 8 o'clock. Between nak masuk OT, nak bedah ni, 5 sampai 8 ni, you dah balik rumah. Tapi kalau something happen to the patient and need your expertise, sebab you yang tengok patient tu the whole day, and they call you or they text you, you have to answer. Because ini ada kena dengan nyawa. So you have to answer. So it's your obligation to answer. Kalau you tak jawab, memang matilah. Let's say you datang pukul 8 tu memang matilah. Lagi-lagi kalau patient jadi apa-apa. So we have to answer. But when it comes to administrative work, clerical work, you stop at 5. So my colleague is here. Encik Ikram is the back. So occasionally we do get that kind of messages. And we always get in WhatsApp WhatsApp group kan, kadang dia petik nama you, Dr. Aziz, can you please blah blah blah, and I dah try balik. Okay, then I just letak and then I just ignore. I reply 8 pagi esok atau 7:30 pagi esok. Eventually, you can ask my colleague, eventually the boss sedar tau. Lepas tu dia kata, hi, I know it's after 5, but I just want to mention here, can get done by tomorrow? So dia tukar ayat dia tau. So dia tahu yang kami semua dalam grup ni memang tak layan dia tau. Memang tak layan dia. Can I ask my friend, kami memang tak layan dia. So memang tahu dia jenis yang macam, kalau nak cakap tu dia ada ADHD tau. Macam, kalau dia macam ni kan, okay, I have to do something. Dan dia text. Lepas tu dia tak ingat apa dia minta tau. So we know about him, then kita ignore dia. Maksudnya kita macam, it's already after 5, it's 8 o'clock at night. Me with my family and my kids and my spouse, my parents, so it's not the right time. I'll deal with you tomorrow. So after a while, dia sedar yang semua yang dalam group WhatsApp tu semua tak layan dia tau. So dia tukar ayat dia, I know it's after 5, but I just want to mention here, can we get it done by tomorrow? Okay lah. Itu kalau bos yang ada insight lah, sedar kan. Kalau yang tak ada insight ni, susah sikit lah nak kena orang superior dia beritahu ni. Atau our immediate boss, our supervisor, our manager kena beritahu dia. Yeah. But no one's dying kan, tak siapa yang mati pun. Kalau admin work kan, you can still wait until tomorrow. Yeah. But of course, adalah apa tu? Yes, kalau ada satu yang mendesak, yang something yang perlu juga urgent, mungkin ada leeway sikit sekali-sekala. Ya, kalau hari-hari memang PL dia macam tu, that's not the right way. Yeah, we have balance out the work and life balance macam Puan Koki cakap. Yeah.
Okay, yang berkenan tadi tu, you see the how to say, the urgency of the matter, like what you say. If it's really urgent, then you reply for it. Maybe let's say very desperate situation, let's say building a collapse, you perlu ada dekat sana, then I understand, agreeable for you to reply because you need certain authority to be there. But if you feel that is the one is still managed, can be answered tomorrow, answer it tomorrow. Not to say ignore straight, but you still can put it in a nice way, saying that currently I might not enough informations right now. Most of the folders, I don't take my PCs, don't be sarcastic like that lah, but don't take my PCs to office. But I say, most of the things have been left out, so why don't I reply? Because if you ask now also, I will give you A, C, D, then G. Tengah-tengah memang tergantung. So baik saya dapatkan the esok sahaja, the full thing. Maybe we explain, because like what the doctor said, memang semua tak ada celik akal dia akan dapat dia dengan family, sebab sedangkan dia pun dengan family dia juga, tapi dia desperate lah. But not to teach them a lesson, but to tell them that not only you, but also in the family, but you should understand in a way that, so somehow 99% I can see when you start to ignore like this, they understand that thing can be done tomorrow. Actually, basically they know that can be done, but it is like, how do you suka nak disturb ADHD? Saja nak disturb. Sama ada orang ni respon ke tak? Sometimes they test your passions, like, oh, dah disturb, orang ni jawab ke tak sebenarnya? Kalau tak, macam mana? Kalau dia tak jawab, saya rasa dia takkan kacau sebab dia tahu orang tu memang tak ada benda tu. They realize actually. So what you can do is then enter, like you see the urgency and how well you want to message them.
So we can see that different setting tu ada different approach. And after all, I believe that we know how to deal with our superior better. Kita yang spend most active hours and dah mesti dah lama dengan kita punya superior. Alright, ada question lagi? Yes, sister, tafadhal.
saya stres dia. Kadang saya berfikir, saya rasa macam boleh dengar, boleh cakap, boleh dengar dia cakap dengan saya. Dan sebab tekanan stres tu datang daripada orang yang saya akan selalu jumpa dia dan dia selalu macam tekan saya. Dan saya bila tahap anxiety saya datang ke saya rasa macam tak tahu tahan saya tu saya tak boleh nak saya rasa macam salah aku bukan yang salah aku bukan yang buat benda tu. Kadang kita dah jelaskan apa yang dia cakap tu tak benar tapi dia tak nak terima. Sampai sekarang dia macam attack dan terus attack. Jadi saya bila benda tu dia datang anxiety tu dia jadi macam gigil. Jadi macam rasa macam kenapa persoalan tu tanya akan datang. Kadang-kadang kita rasa macam ada orang kata kau memang kau macam tu, memang kau yang salah, memang kita macam ada dengar benda macam tu. Adakah tahap anxiety saya tu akan semakin teruk macam mana?
Terima kasih, Sister. Sebelum menjawab, saya harap apa-apa yang kita dengar perkongsian hari ini, just habis di sini ya. Terima kasih, Sister, atas perkongsian. Very brave of you, ya. Sangat berani untuk menceritakan sesuatu yang sangat deep inside, ya. Yang kita rasa kita cuba rahsiakan, tak nak orang yang tahu. But you're so brave to share with us, so we all can learn from her story. Okay. Anxiety ni kita ada level-level. Biasanya dalam setiap diagnosis kita ada mild, moderate, severe. Kalau mild tu dia ada sedikit, kalau moderate tu ada banyak sikit sederhana. Kalau severe tu most likely kena start ubat. Ya. So nak diagnose dia kena jumpa psychiatrist yang kita akan buat few assessment. Kita tengok ada few soalan nak jawab, yang kita tanya few soalan, few questions to ask you. Dan kita tengok cukup tak kriteria you untuk didiagnose sebagai anxiety. Kadang-kadang kita rasa kita ada anxiety, but in fact tak ada pun anxiety tu. Sebab kita biasa kata macam, alah babe, I depressed lah babe, I depressed lah. I anxious lah. When in fact, you tak depressed pun. Kita menggunakan istilah yang salah. Sometimes you just sad. Sometimes you rasa stress. Tapi kita, I depressed lah babe, tak boleh lah. So, kita kena betul-betul tengok apa simptom you ada, sign you ada. Cukup tak kriteria nak katakan bahawa you memang ada anxiety. Kalau betul you ada anxiety, which level of anxiety you are? Could be moderate, mild, severe. Yeah? This one kita kena explore lebih. Come and see one of the psychiatrists or any of the clinics dan kita akan assess and treat.
Any other question? Any other question? Oh, sorry, saya tak nampak. Yes, brother, silakan. Boleh.
Alright, Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. Okay, my name is Fazwan and usually people call me Gopi from Gopi. But Fazwan orang tak kenal. So daripada Sports Development Center. So my first is I want to share something. So since March until August, I was diagnosed in depression. So I pergi dekat Hospital Selayang for psychotherapy. So during my experience, I realised yang I sebenarnya tak tahu I ada depression. Tapi one of the doctor dekat kita punya klinik, dia macam, I nak pergi ambil MC je sebenarnya sikit kepala. And then dia kata, you need something lah. So dia kata, why not you pergi ke Hospital Selayang. So I pun pergi macam, kenapa I kena pergi Hospital Selayang? So I duduk dekat zon hijau, zon kuning. So kat situ semua orang patah tangan, kaki ke atas semua kan. So I duduk atas katil tu, orang tanya, you sikit apa? I cakap, I sikit otak. Sebab I tak tahu nak jawab apa. So kalau I kata accident, bukan. Nampak normal kan, saya cakap I sikit otak. And then, kat sini I nak credit kat my wife. So dia yang bersama dengan I. Sorry. also, sorry. Sorry. I do understand apa sister rasa. Ah, Jadi kat sini saya nak encourage semua, if anything, pergilah kat terapi tu dan talk with people. Sebab kadang-kadang kita bukan tak jumpa masalah tu. Kita just nak someone to talk. Okay, kadang-kadang masalah tu macam yang kita punya terapi kan. Terapi kita tak bagi solution pun. Kita just kena luah and then suddenly macam, oh, that is how we need to do. Ya, dia macam kita selalu macam kalau kerja kan, saya rasa semua kita akan selalu salahkan bos. Bos ni macam ni, bos ni macam ni, bos ni. Actually kita sendiri yang salah. Masalah saya dekat UIA adalah saya sentiasa yes boss. Yes boss. That's one of the biggest problem saya. Dan saya tak pernah cakap no dekat siapa-siapa. Seorang ambil kesempatan dan saya rasa pressure dan bila hari bekerja, hari cuti pun saya masih buat kerja. Jadi wife saya pun macam marah. Benda tu sebenarnya masalah tu datang daripada diri sendiri. So my question is, how to encourage our colleague untuk pergi dapatkan terapi tersebut? That's the question.
Passion and very brave juga, berani ke depan kan. Just to share, brothers and sisters, untuk kami pengamal kaunseling, sebelum kita bagi jawab, saya bagi jawab dulu. Untuk kami pengamal kaunseling, kami memang suka bila pandemik. Suka in the sense, people start to talk about counselling, people start to talk about mental health. Sebelum ni tabu, tak boleh cakap. So after the pandemic, people talk. We also, kami ni dua juga ialah talian Nur yang call 24 jam tu, yang pukul 2-3 pagi pun orang call. Jadi benda-benda macam tu, people start talking. Alright, so saya serahkan kepada Dr. Aziz dan Puan Kogi untuk jawab soalan.
Okay, first of all, I would say really bravo to you, brother, because why not everybody will share. Yes, correct. Yeah, you know, because and then you mentioned the second is that those who are supported with you is your family. That's really one comes to you, seriously, because not everybody have that positivity that seriously. Let's say anyone here individually suffered, you feel that something is wrong with me and I need immediately to get them, we always have talian kasih 1599. To be honest, yesterday I handled 2 talian kasih urgently. So what when we receive, we immediately will call them. No matter what, we will ask them actually, we call them. Even nowadays we have WhatsApp, talian kasih. Okay, later I will say the number as well. But if you want to call, we have talian kasih 15999. Then please feel free to talk to them. They are there actually. Once you let them know, they will assign to the counselors. Within 24 hours, we will get you. So 24 hours, we also need time because to circulate under what? If let's say case 2 memang psychiatrist, is really a depression, then we will escalate to another authority that we're going to get. Like maybe police can go like mengamuk, case mengamuk like that. I have experienced one who asked me help at night 10 o'clock. They was telling me, I really need this help to get this girl out of the house because she's in depression thorough. I had time to commit suicide as well. So pergi sana, I tried my approach, talked to her, she shouted, she don't want to talk, she slammed the door, but I still go in, I say, I keep calm like what doctor you have done, I did that, but I see she's not going to do something. So I had to call the court because since that time I'm working in PDRM, I said, please, I called my colleague, please come, we're going to drag this girl. I don't care because I told the families already, you're going to follow me with that. Be with her. So we dragged her. Eventually, the whole block was looking. I said, nothing. It is not anything. You just mind your own business because we are doing something really with drugs. I don't want people to take, I told them, no, there's nothing. We just want to help out. Because when we bring them, straight away go to the emergency and I say, this is what? And they attend. They really attended. The doctor really attended because I told this emergency case because she's like that. So they give her and then they started treatment. Yeah, that's what happened. So we are there for you. You don't think that we are not there. We are really there for you. But we just need 24 hours to escalate. And it's called Talian Kasih. That's what I can say. And we have a Talian Heal as well to talk about it. Okay? We have many. This is what you can reach immediately. Yes, I know that.
And then sikit, nowadays help is available. Help is available. Kalau you rasa macam susah nak berjalan ke klinik dan see face to face, kita ada virtual consultation. sama ada video conference ataupun telefon. Ya. So jangan rasa takutlah nanti di depan nanti macam soalan-soalan macam mana tanya. If you're afraid of that, choose for the consultation virtually. Ya. So we have a lot of NGOs yang buat macam Puan Koki dan sebagainya. So reach out to them. Ya.
Okay, maybe I can tell you the number. For the talian kasih is 15999. Okay, the WhatsApp is 019 261 019 261 5999. Yeah, y'all, I just maybe I don't little bit. Y'all know how this talian kasih wujud, right? Any idea? Right? No. Okay, those who don't know, this is based on a story of Nur Jazlin, that girl. Yeah, you know, nobody has saved. I mean, we couldn't able to save that poor little girl. So that's where we started to have this. So this was proudly for her actually. Wherever she is, I hope she's in peaceful now. Okay, okay, this is the number.
Thank you for the response, both panelists. Just to add on, untuk brothers and sisters, CCAC, saya pula buat promotion untuk diri sendiri. Tapi kami Career and Counselling Services Center, we have 8 counsellors, 1 clinical psychologist. Madam Khairia ada di sini ke? Alright, so we have clinical psychologists, but Dr. Aziz mentioned, so we have clinical psychologists here, do the assessment yang tadi Dr. Aziz mentioned, the rest are counsellors. So meaning to say, beside handling students, we also handle staff dependent and staff punya kids. Because at current, we also receive client from outside with no charge. Saya highlight with no charge. Kenapa? Kerana highlight sepatutnya bila ada KBPA, we can charge. But we don't charge. InsyaAllah before we charge, sebab we are in the process of it, so datanglah. Yes, sebabnya rights dia memang boleh charge. Betul kan? That is under jurisdiction of KBPM, dia memang ada listing. Alright? So siapa yang nak bercakap, sebab we do the talk therapy. That's why kadang-kadang brothers and sisters jumpa kami di luar, dia macam, kita macam tak kenal. Sebab kita takkan ada nak jumpa, sister jumpa ke? Oh, she's my client. We don't talk that. Sebab kita jaga PNC. Bukan buat tak kenal, tapi kami punya prosedur ialah untuk begitu. Professionalism. Biasa tengok kalau magistrate, they have their own leave, apa semua tu. So basically that's what we are practicing lah, indirectly. Alright, so kita ada lagi 10 minit. I hope kita boleh come to the last question for both the panelists. After all, nanti kita akan ada question. Yes. Yes, sister. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Lupa nak kenakan diri. Saya Junaida. Mungkin adik-adik kat sini, ramai yang kenal saya sebelum ni. Okay. Assalamualaikum semua. Saya Junaida. Saya kerja kat IIUM ni dah 18 tahun. 20 tahun lah. Sebab saya 2 tahun ambil cuti tanpa gaji sebab jaga anak saya sakit brain tumor. Tapi semua tu saya nak cerita pengalaman saya berhadapan dengan seorang bos yang sangat-sangat cerewet. Saya tak boleh sebut siapa nama dia. Semua orang kenal dia, dan saya tak boleh sebut nama dia. Okey, saya berani cerita di sini sebab dia dah tak ada di sini. Dulu dia ada, saya jaga. Saya memang akan jaga nama bos saya walaupun antara kami ada masalah. Cuma ini satu cerita untuk adik-adik semua ya. Sebab tadi, sebab selalunya, sebab saya pun adalah seorang yang hormat bos. Apa saja yang buat saya tak hormat, yes bos, macam adik dan sister. Apa-apa saja yes bos. Dan saya tak pandai nak melawan, nak cakap hak kita. Sehinggalah apabila saya ditukarkan ke sebuah mahalah yang lain, saya kerja kat mahalah. Saya tak sebut juga nama mahalah tu. Sebab nanti orang akan kenal dia. Okey, senang macam ni lah saya cerita. Saya bekerja dengan bos ni. Dengan bos yang pertama saya. Pada tahun 2003 kan, saya mula-mula kerja dekat sini. Saya tak tahu nak kata macam mana dia tu orangnya. Adakah dia buat tu kerana memang saya Saya handle bahagian maintenance. Okey, bila saya kerja bahagian maintenance, tentulah saya akan deal dengan ramai lelaki. Kontraktor, dengan technician semua. Dalam masa yang sama, masa tu saya seorang ibu tunggal. Anak 5 orang. Walaupun saya ada anak 5 orang, tapi orang nampak saya macam saya tak ada anak lagi. Okey, saya tak tahu antara adakah dia tengok saya dia tegur tu patut ataupun kerana dia ada satu orang kata jealous. Okey. Jadinya apa yang berlaku ialah satu hari saya menemani seorang kontraktor pergi ke blok sebab ada masalah tebuan kan. Kemudian bila saya sampai ke office saya, tiba-tiba saya nampak ada surat atas meja saya. Saya pun baca, tiba-tiba saya kata dalam surat tu dia seperti melarang saya untuk deal dengan lelaki sampai ke tahap saya terpaksa bawa kontraktor tu ke blok. Okey, dan saya rasa macam dan surat tu dihantar terus kepada MSD. Saya rasa tak puas hati. Kenapa pula dah memang tugas saya bahagian maintenance, memang saya kena deal dengan lelaki. Okey, jadinya saya tak puas hati, saya pergi jumpa dengan principal waktu tu sebabnya masa tu principal masih lagi boleh deal dengan seorang staff kan, antara staff dengan M. Dekat situ saya kata, Kak Cik, ini saya sebut nama panggilan untuk principal tu. Saya kata saya tak puas hati dengan apa yang dia tulis atas meja ni. Kenapa dia tulis macam ni? Kenapa dia kata saya tak perlu lagi bertugas dengan lelaki sedangkan ini bahagian saya? Okey, dia memang nampak dia tak puas hati dengan saya sampaikan kadang-kadang sampaikan apa kita punya evaluation kan yang dia buat macam kita panggil KPI lah. Saya pernah dapat sampai 2. Dan saya tak tahu sebenarnya. Bayangkan saya 6 tahun temporary saya tak permanent. Masa tu sebab saya seorang yang tak tahu macam mana nak rela diri saya. Sebab kita yes boss. Sebab kita sangka baik dengan semua orang. Tapi dia tak jelas kenapa. Dia buat dia evaluate saya sampai teruk sekali. Tahun permanent tau. Dia masa temporary. Kemudian bila bos ni berpindah ke tempat lain, saya kemaskan meja dia semua. Saya nampak orang evaluation tu dalam meja dia. Nak takdir Allah nak bagi Saya keluarkan borang tu sebab dia tak buat online. Jadi saya keluarkan borang tu, saya baca ada satu bahagian tu dia evaluate saya sampai 2. Saya kata sampai macam ni sekali dia evaluate saya. Dia kan dia kata apa saja yang saya buat di mata dia semua tak kena. Dan yang paling saya sedih sekali, saya bukan sengaja nak melebihi dia. Kita memang jaga evidence kita sebab kita kerja pejabat kan. Pernah sekali, saya keluar dengan dia. Dekat CAC ada seorang cleaner tegur saya. Saya nak beritahu pada kawan-kawan semua. Mula-mula saya kerja kat UIA, saya jadi cleaner dekat library ni lah. Mungkin ramai staff library kat sini kenal saya. Mula-mula saya kerja cleaner, sebelum saya dapat permanent, saya kerja cleaner dekat sini selama 7 bulan. Daripada bulan berapa ni sampai bulan 8 2003 saya dapat jadi staff dekat UIA di sini.
Puan,
Dekat library ni lah.
okey, Puan. Saya minta maaf, we are running out of time. Puan ada soalan ke ada something yang
Sharing kan. Saya pun tahu lagi. Okey. Masa tu saya nak beritahu, saya tak pandai nak defend diri saya. Sebab saya ingat macam ni ke orang event kita. Macam tu. Okey. Then second boss. Saya pergi pula pada second boss. Bos yang baru, yang situ sebenarnya lagi sangat-sangat memuji. Sebab sebelum tu dah ramai staff yang datang pada saya dan beritahu Kak Jun, kalau Kak Jun kerja dengan dia ni, Kak Jun kena siap mental, Kak Jun kena kuat. Dia punya tak puas hati dengan saya, ini bos baru Dia punya tak puas hati dengan saya buat report. Tanda koma, tanda noktah tak betul. Keluar masuk bilik, minta betulkan. Tapi yang pediknya, dengan saya dia memang cukup anti. Sebab dia ada bias. Tapi kalau dengan staff yang diminat, silap dia boleh tutup mata je. Dengan saya tak boleh. Pernah sekali dia campak file, pernah sekali dia cubit saya punya lengan, dia punya tak puas hati sampai saya rasa lenguh nak pegang mouse. Selepas dia cubit saya. Bos yang baru ni pula kan.
Sehingga saya tak puas hati dengan dia. Saya pernah ambil banyaklah hal yang sebenarnya, cuma nak ringkas saja. Stresnya saya tu sampai saya pernah ambil cuti 6 bulan separuh gaji. Masa saya kerja dengan yang second boss ni tadi. Kan? Sampai pernah kali saya stres, saya nak siapkan report untuk dia. Dia tak puas hati dengan saya sebab saya tak sempat nak print out lagi. Memang sebenarnya saya nak buat untuk dia. Saya tahu kepentingan saya siapkan report untuk dia. Jadinya dia tak puas hati, dia membebel macam-macam dekat saya. Sebab masa tu saya dapat confirmation daripada seorang kontraktor kan tentang kerja yang dia buat. Dia tak puas hati juga. Akhirnya pada hari itulah baru saya raise up suara saya dengan buku saya sendiri. Saya beranikan diri saya. Saya tak puas hati dengan dia, saya terus letak file apa semua, saya keluar daripada office. Saya tunggu dekat dekat bus stop depan sini, saya bela. Aku nak ke mana sebenarnya ni? Sebab kita nak tunjuk perasaan dan tak pernah saya buat macam tu. Akhirnya saya jumpa dengan bos besar kat center ni, dekat RSD. Sebab malam memang bawa RSD. Saya jumpa dengan bos besar saya kata, puan, saya minta maaf. Saya bergaduh lagi dengan dia hari ni. Dia kata kat dia, dan saya tak tahu saya nak ke mana. Apa yang patut saya buat? Dan bos tu nasihatkan saya, okey Jim, kalau macam tu hari ni, you ambil rehat dulu tak? You jangan masuk office lagi. You tengah panas dan dia tengah panas.
Okay. Alright.
Sebenarnya nak beritahu, bila kita ditekan macam ni, apa yang patut kita buat ialah kita kena beradikan dia, raise up suara kita patut jumpa dengan seseorang untuk meluahkan perasaan kita supaya ada orang yang mendengar. Maksudnya ada orang yang mendengar suara kita daripada kita terus diam saja dan terus diam.
Okey, betul. Terima kasih Puan Jun atas keberanian juga. Banyak sharing session hari ini kan. Sebenarnya baru kita tahu kita ada right untuk bercakap dan kita kena ada proper channel. Ya, macam saya cakap tadi, kalau culture kita yang selalu tak apa diam dan sabar tu, kita mungkin kena letak ke tepi sedikit dululah. Okey, untuk panelis, saya rasa soalan-soalan tadi dan sesi soalan dan perbincangan kita tadi sangat memberi, it's very fruitful. Thanks for your response and knowledge and experience. It is very much appreciated. Alright, untuk itu saya minta maaf, we have to end this session because another slot is coming in. Alright, so kalau brothers and sisters have any question, we can always have a communication at the back because the panelists are still with us. With that, I pass the floor to our MC today, Sister Fatima. Tafadhal.
Thank you, Dr. Madina. Now we have tokens of appreciation for our speakers. So I would like to welcome Madam Anis Syafina Fatimah Mak Saleh upfront to give the speakers with the tokens. Okay. I would like to call Doctor, Mrs. Okay, for our second speaker, Madam Putih. Thank you, Madam Anis. Alright, so next we have a session with Neuro Coach Digital Lab from KICT. For your information, currently we have 5 activities outside, so we invited all of you to get involved. We have journaling corner, coloring therapy, acupuncture, and cat